and welcome back to the Ascended Master series. Today I'm here with Dream Detective Kate. Thank you for being here with us today.
Oh,
And
thanks for inviting me.
she's going to talk about several iterations of St. Germain.
Yeah.
Yes.
St. Germain, when I first started doing this, I got really confused. And finally, I thought, okay, I'm just going to put it all out there and we can decide individually, which parts we resonate with.
Yeah.
because it really is kind of all over there. So in the 1700s, St. Germain dazzled royal courts with his amazing alchemical feats, such as removing flaws from diamonds, and he became known as the Wonder Man of Europe. His skills were praised by Louis XV, who provided him a laboratory, a residence at the royal castle, and ushered in the immortal sponsor of the age of Aquarius. So he was also known as a courtier from Count St. Germain from 1710 to 1784. He's been described as a courtier, an adventurer, an inventor, a pianist, an alchemist, a violinist, and an amateur composer. That's a lot. Talk about a Renaissance guy.
That's what I was going to say. He fits the Renaissance man, doesn't he?
All of it, all the way through.
Yeah.
As an ascended master, St. Germain, whose mission and purpose was to advance the consciousness of humanity, the Theosophical Society, after Blavatsky's death, now she's the one that is credited for forming this society, considered him to be a Mahatma, master of the ancient wisdom. So Germain, from 496 to 576 AD. So we've jumped from 1700, now I'm going all the way back to 500, okay? Was a bishop in Paris and was venerated as a saint in both the Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church. Germain was canonized as patron saint of the people with disabilities and those who have been abused or abandoned. That rings true, right? They usually have just one specialty.
Right.
But, maybe from there, he just added more in feathers into his hat. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So St. Germain is known as the Ascended Master, who is the keeper of the sacred violet flame of healing.
Right.
So Guy Ballard, the founder of the I Am religious activity of the St. Germain, claimed that he met St. Germain in Mount Shasta, in California in August of 1930, and that he initiated his training and experiences with other ascended masters in various parts of the world. The group teaches that the mighty I Am presence is God existing in and is each person's higher self, and that a light known as the violet flame is generated by the I Am presence, may surround each person who calls forth the action of the Holy Spirit for expression of mercy or forgiveness. Right? The group believes that by tapping into these internalized powers in accordance with the teaching, that the Ascendant Masters, one can sense one's relationship to the presence to amplify the expressions of virtue, such as justice, peace, harmony, and love, to displace or abate the expression of evil relative to the absence of good in the world, and to minimize personal difficulties in one's life. And that's quoted from the beloved mighty I Am presence. So in 1935, Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, was asked while in a trance if St. Germain was present. Cayce said, "When needed."
He just pops in when I need him. Yeah,
when I need him. Yeah, he's gonna show up when we need him. So he's been credited with talents such as magical powers, the ability to teleport, to levitate, to walk through walls, to inspire people by telepathy, among others. So as he excelled in the arts, music, language, alchemy, he is also known as the alchemist of the violet flame. I don't know why I can't say that this morning.
It's all right.
That's okay. The violet flame being the shortest wavelength with the highest intensity. So
Mm.
this flame of energy transforms anything blocking the liberation of light. Many believe he introduced the flame on Atlantis. Others
Ah.
say he became popular in the 30s with the flame of joy, freedom, mercy, transformation, and blesses both the sender and receiver. So his incarnations. Now this is where it gets a little bit
Sketchy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So he is credited with being the ruler of a golden age civilization centered in a city called the City of the Sun,
Ooh,
70,000 years ago, and was
wow.
located in the lush and verdant area, but is now called the Sahara Desert.
Wow.
Originally, yeah, originally a colony sent out from Atlantis.
Mm.
So, as a high priestess of the Violet Flame Temple on the mainland of Atlantis 13,000 years ago, St. Germain sustained by his invocations and his casual body a pillar of fire with a veritable fountain of violet singing flame, which magnetized people from near and far who came to be set free from every binding condition of the body, mind,
Mm.
and soul. This was
Mm.
achieved by self-effort through the offering of invocations and the practice of the seventh ray, rituals
Mhm.
to the sacred fire. He is also being credited for being Hesiod, Greek poet, whose writings
Mhm.
were a major source of insight from
They were.
700 BC. He's
Yep.
also credited for being Plato, the philosopher who studied with Pythagoras Pythagoras. And
Pythagoras. Pythagoras. Yes.
Pythagoras.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
don't know why I can't say that word either.
It's all right.
That's okay. And studied with scholars in Egypt.
Mhm.
He was also in the academy in Athens, and that was 427 to 347 BC. Saint Joseph, first century AD, in Nazareth, husband of Mary, and
Mary.
guardian of Jesus. Man, this guy
Uh-huh.
has been busy. Okay, we're
Yes.
fucking really busy. Saint Alban, right, who has in the 3rd and 4th century town of Verulamium, renamed St Albans, Hertfordshire, England, the first British martyr. He's
Oh.
accredited with being Merlin,
Mm-hmm.
mythical magician and counselor in King Arthur's Camelot, who inspired an establishment of the Order of the Knights of the Round Table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just been so busy. Organizer behind the scenes for the secret societies in Germany in the late 14th and 15th century. He's
Uh-huh.
accredited for being Christopher Columbus,
Right.
1451 to 1506. How about Sir Francis Bacon? Okay, that one is a little bit um,
Okay.
a little bit more current. And then the St. Germain Foundation became prolific in 1934,
Mm-hmm.
creating a society that talked about his teachings. So, I mean, that is just a lot, right? Okay,
Well,
so
I have here too. He was Shakespeare, so why not just be
yes,
all the big
yeah,
important
Shakespeare as
people?
well, right? Yeah, all of them, right?
All of them. Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
them, everything you want to be and more.
Right.
He
Right.
re- he
No
re-
women. No women.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe they're coming.
Maybe.
He served
Yep.
as a back channel for diplomatic relations between England and France. He may have played some role
Mm-hmm.
in Freemasonry,
Mm-hmm.
hobnob with Marie Antoinette, Catherine the Great,
Oh,
Voltaire, Rousseau,
yep.
Mesmer, and Casanova. I mean, it's just amazing, right? He dabbled in
Really
materials
is.
and textile technology as well as alchemy, and with many of the intellectuals of the time.
Okay.
Less well understood are some of the other stories that have been made up about the elusive Count. He always appeared to be about 40 years old, popped up from time to time after his official death, which was 1784,
Uh-huh.
made spot on and unambiguous prophecies, could transmute matter, spontaneously teleported to distant locations. I mean, this is so incredible. You can see why I was confused by all of this, because it was like,
Yeah.
wow, there is so much written about Saint Germain, whether or not
Yes. There
whether
is.
or not it really is, one entity, one being all the way through
Correct.
all of this.
Mhm.
He is a pretty active ascended
He's an
master.
active guy.
So
Well, it makes sense for us to talk about him because he was certainly involved with the Enlightenment and with ascension at that time, and now we've got Pluto right back in the same position. So he's
yeah,
quite influential for us now. So
yes.
that's yeah, good.
In the age of Aquarius. During my
Hmm.
research, I did find a channeled prayer that was repeated by Jane Halliwell Green in her book.
Hmm.
And if you want, I can share it with you. We can
Yeah,
talk
I
about
love
it.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So the channeled prayer is, "Blessed are you who love. Love is the ultimate experience in this life. Love will provide you with the riches of the universe. Practice true and deep soul love. Soul love comes from the deepest level of your being. It embraces all. Love is beyond the understanding of human part of you. To embrace and know it at its deepest level, one must first tap into the spirit, which is who you really are. Pray to understand and practice loving those whom you believe do not deserve it. All deserve love. All respond to love. Love is the most potent medicine in existence. We challenge you to use this power to change your world. Do not be skeptical
Mhm.
until you try. To change your situation requires that you be love and nothing less.
Mhm.
That's the end. That was channeled, and they gave St. Germain the credit for that. We said that was lovely.
It is lovely. Couple of things I want to add, but this was quite the interesting ascended master. So thank you very much for all that work that you did.
Sure.
Um, it says I pulled a card today. I was telling Kate yesterday. I was doing a reading with my mediums, and some MIMS asked us to pull cards, so I did. And I had pulled the Law of Intention, Give Up Complaining. And as you're reading that channeled master's thing, all I
Yes,
could think of was just be love, be love, don't
that's right.
complain, be
Yeah.
love, just be love. Um, it says here that that the St. Germain loves to work with light workers and wants to work with light workers, which is what we all are here.
Yes.
Um, and that people who want the world to clean up its act. And what are we trying to do here, you know?
Yeah.
It says he provides guidance, protection, and courage, and he also works very tightly with Archangel Michael and does a
Right.
lot of things in unison with him. He helps with alchemy, which Kate said, authority figures and influential people comfortable interacting with, just like Catherine the Great and Louis the 15th and all the others. He helps you with courage and direction, with life purpose. The miraculous manifestations are what she talked about, how he could transmute energy immediately,
Right.
how to persevere, how to use psychic protection, and how to clear out space. And it says here that whenever light workers are gathered in classes, study groups, or prayer meetings, he is there helping spiritual teachers to encourage their outgoing nature and leadership skills.
Hmm.
So, I mean, what is this here but a great big practice session? So,
Yeah.
I think that's why when I first started this, I really wanted you to bring Saint Germain to us, and because it was germane to the conversation.
Yes. Yes,
So, yeah,
absolutely. Oh my
absolutely.
gosh,
So, yeah,
yes.
yeah. So, I thank you for bringing this here. It says you may start seeing violet purple sparkles of light in the room, or violet purple everywhere you go in people's clothing and flowers. So if you start seeing violet purple everywhere, you'll know Saint Germain is there. And it says also that in this person's experience in this book that I have read about archangels and ascended masters,
Yeah.
that you don't really call him, he comes to you. But you could say, I need your help. maybe you want to call in Michael and say, you could bring along St. Germain. That's okay.
Yeah,
So,
maybe it's St. Germain that's nudging us. Hey, over here, do this. Remember this. Start
it
with
could be.
love and see where that goes.
See
Let
where
that
that goes.
see where that flame goes. See how far it can travel. Because
Absolutely.
he really was, this all-encompassing,
He
um,
was. Yeah.
saint that they give him all this credit for.
Credit
And
for.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that's that they say that he's right under Jesus in that
In that order.
hierarchy, yeah, of being of assistance. And I think it's just so beautiful, the idea behind. Well, I've always loved purple, but now I understand why. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's wonderful to study, and I'll be really candid. I didn't spend much time in any part of my life ever studying masters. So,
Uh-huh.
it's something within the last few years that I've even been thinking about, as
Mhm.
it didn't come into my, my practices as a child with church or with any of
Sure.
those. I wasn't raised Catholic. But it just didn't come in,
Yeah.
and I find that fascinating, that what we learn when we learn it.
I
And
know. The right
I really did was like, wait a minute, wait, one's 17, and then we're back to 17,000 years ago, and then we're, and so it was like, and I, in my mind, I have a hard time with time anyway. So I almost
time.
had to
Mhm.
do a graph out, to say, okay, over here he was this, and then this, and this, and this, and then he got really big in this. So
Right.
whether it's the same spirit all the way through, um, it's
Yeah.
whatever resonates with you, whatever resonates. So it doesn't really matter. No. Was the goodness produced? Yes. Was the experience shared and is continued to be shared? Then yes. Then that's a
Yeah.
really sweet thing,
It
you know?
really is. And when you talked about the seventh ray and it has the shortest distance to go, the violet is the crown chakra and the
Mhm.
shortest distance to go, of course, to heaven. And
That's
so
right.
it makes a lot of sense that the violet ray is the seventh ray, called the seventh ray. The other thing I really loved that you brought up was the I am movement.
Yes.
And anything that you put after I am, it is a declaration. It is a prayer. So be very, very careful. I always say, I am enough. That's what I say, because I'm not perfect. I'm not, but I don't want to say, that I am something that's very negative,
Right.
because you
Yes.
believe that.
Yeah.
You begin to
Even
believe.
even in describing how you're feeling, even in
Mhm.
describing in a situation that can be frustrated, you don't
Yep.
want to ever put those I am together with whatever the circumstance is. If the
Right.
circumstance is something, then you could say I feel or I'm sensing, but
Yeah.
rather, save the I am for the absolute best
For the absolute
pieces of language, right? I know
absolutely.
that when John and I were trying to figure out what our next step was, where our home was going to be, we were, lost in the wilderness. Thank goodness we weren't out there for 40 years. But but
Really.
yeah, we started practicing repeating I am statements. And so I
Yeah,
printed them up and put them in the car. I put them in the mirror. I put them,
I've done
in the
that
house,
too.
everywhere. Right.
Yep.
And so we had this whole list, and it was, I am healthy, I am happy, I am wealthy. And we
Right.
added on to it, like, I am wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. I am patient. I am
Mhm.
peaceful. I am loving. And then at
Right.
the very end, and there were like, 6 or 7 more. And then at the very end, it was, and I am excited about today.
There
And
you
I
go.
love that because it
Yes.
allows all that vibrancy
Sure.
to go ahead of your day, to be a part of
Hmm.
your day, but to go ahead of your day.
In anticipation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
like it's an adventure, and
Yeah.
everything is gonna be okay, even though
Right.
we were living in this,
Yeah.
you know.
And we're living in it now in a collective. And so, the
Oh, so
fast,
cool.
and is about your intentions. Give up complaining. I am love. I am peace. I
Yes.
am joy.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful message. Wonderful.
Absolutely. I'm so
Great.
glad that you asked me to do this, Allie, because it has really enriched how I think about something I hadn't had in my experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important in the stepping out, in understanding, and in the empathy of understanding others, to
Right.
be to recognize that there are many ways forward to get to that purple and white light. So,
There are.
and gold and beyond.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I just really appreciate it, because it's been, and
Sure.
it was baffling to me, because I wanted it to be boom, 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 boom. And it
And
just
spiritual
wasn't.
isn't. Yeah,
It
spiritual's
just
all over
wasn't,
the
yeah,
place.
all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of cool too, right?
It is.
To acknowledge that, it wasn't just one lifetime, it was multiple
Right.
experiences, it was multiple conditions and support,
Mhm.
in spirit for humanity. So thank you, appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. It was wonderful to hear about all the iterations of St. Germain or
Great.
Germanus or Germain.
Yeah,
And
content out.
I'm looking forward to working with him. And now that we've opened the door, he'll
Yeah,
probably come through. Yeah. When
absolutely.
we need him, like Edgar said, he's there
When
when I need him.
needed. Yeah, when needed. We'll
When
be on
needed.
the lookout for those
That's
purple
right. We
shells.
will. That's
Yeah.
right.
And that'll
Yeah.
be fun, because that'll be kind of like a treasure hunt.
It's a
Is he
treasure hunt.
here? Is he here
It
today?
is.
Where's the purple?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks,
Oh, you're so
everybody, for
welcome.
being with us for this Ascended Master.
Yes.
And I look forward to more masters coming to talk about their people that they have studied. Have a great
Wonderful.
day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.